The WhatsApp notification that ended my 20-year marriage appeared at exactly 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday night while I was organizing our vacation photos. I'm George Patterson, 58 years old, and I thought I knew everything about problem solving after 25 years in IT management. Variables, debugging, expected outcomes. I'd built my career on logical processes, but nothing prepared me for the notification that would completely change the last 2 decades of my life. I was sitting at our home office desk in our Phoenix suburb, going through digital photos from Sandra's recent spa weekend with her sisters. At 55, my wife had been talking about self-care and reconnecting with family. Susan and Barbara, her older sisters, had planned this elaborate wellness retreat to Sedona. Girls' bonding time, Sandra called it. Quality sister time before we got too old to travel together. The notification chimed from our shared iPad, the one we used for household planning and photo storage. Sandra must have forgotten to log out of her WhatsApp account again. The message preview showed she'd been added to a group chat called Weekend Recovery. I almost ignored it, almost. But curiosity got the better of me, and it certainly changed everything for the man I used to be. I clicked on the notification, and everything I thought I knew about my marriage fell apart in about 30 seconds. The chat showed the truth about Sandra's spa weekend. There had been no meditation retreats, no sister bonding, no wellness activities. Instead, I watched video after video of my wife of 20 years getting very physical with a personal trainer named Miguel. She looked more excited than I'd seen her in years. Her hands were all over this guy like she was exploring new territory. But that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was her face, pure joy. The same look she'd had when I surprised her with a weekend in Cabo for our 15th anniversary. Susan Torres, married to Kevin for 22 years and mother of 2 college-age kids, was in similar videos with another trainer. Barbara Morales, Danny's wife of 18 years, was practically naked in one video while her sisters cheered her on. The WhatsApp messages told me everything I needed to know. Sandra wrote, "OMG, dying watching these. Can't believe we went that far with the trainers." Susan replied, "What happens in Sedona stays in Sedona. Kevin can never see these videos." Barbara added, "Danny would literally file for divorce. Worth every minute, though." The group's photographer, their cousin Angela, responded, "You ladies are wild. That was the hottest thing I've ever seen." Sandra finished with words that really got to me. 20 years of marriage, and I finally feel alive again. Had to get this out of my system. Get it out of her system. I read that line about 17 times, each time feeling like someone was squeezing my chest tighter. My hands went numb, then started shaking as I realized how deep their lies went. This wasn't some spur-of-the-moment thing. The chat showed weeks of planning, talking about what they wanted to do, detailed coordination of cover stories. They'd researched the resort specifically, chosen one with attractive male staff, and even arranged for Angela to film everything. I started taking screenshots with the same methodical approach that had made me successful in IT. Every video, every message, every piece of proof got saved to 3 separate cloud accounts, copied to 2 external drives, and organized by date and person. If my marriage was going to die, I was going to document exactly how it happened. 2 hours passed collecting evidence. 2 hours of watching the woman I'd loved enthusiastically betraying everything we'd built together. 2 hours of realizing that while I'd been planning our retirement and paying extra on our mortgage, she'd been planning her sexual awakening with strangers. When I finally closed the iPad, our house felt different. The family photos on our mantle looked fake now. Our wedding album on the living room bookshelf was just a record of promises that apparently had expiration dates. I walked to our bedroom and looked at Sandra sleeping peacefully, her 55-year-old face calm and innocent looking. The woman lying there had been all over another man 3 days ago while her sisters filmed it. That woman was a complete stranger wearing my wife's face. But as I stood there, something cold started building in my mind. Not anger. Anger makes you sloppy and leads to mistakes. This was the part of my brain that had debugged complex programs, that had managed big IT projects, that had built systems from scratch using logic and planning. I had Kevin Torres's and Danny Morales' contact information from family gatherings. Both men deserved to know what their wives had been doing while they thought their spouses were bonding over herbal teas and yoga classes. Friday morning came like nothing had happened. Sandra came out of the shower looking refreshed and happy, humming while she put on her makeup. She looked like a woman who'd had a great weekend and didn't have a care in the world. "Morning, honey," Sandra said, kissing my cheek. "The spa weekend was exactly what I needed. I feel like a completely new woman." If she only knew how right she was. "That's great, sweetheart," I replied, keeping my voice normal. 12 hours of research had taught me everything about staying calm under pressure. Act normal, change nothing, stick to the plan. After Sandra left for her event planning job, I opened my laptop and started building profiles on my targets. Kevin Torres, 61, construction foreman at Southwest Builders, married to Susan for 22 years. Danny Morales, 57, senior accountant at Phoenix Financial Group, married to Barbara for 18 years. Both men were fathers, homeowners, hardworking guys who'd trusted their wives completely. Kevin's Facebook showed a devoted grandfather who posted photos of family barbecues and anniversary messages that would break your heart. Recent posts had some changes, though. Forced smiles, mentions of working through some challenges. Susan had been distant lately. Danny's LinkedIn was more professional, but I could see strain there too. A recent post about appreciating the people who truly support you sounded desperate. Both men were already sensing something was wrong. I was about to confirm their worst fears. I called Kevin first, reaching him during his lunch break. "Kevin Torres?" "Yeah, who's this?" "George Patterson, Sandra's husband, Susan's brother-in-law." "Oh, hey George, what's going on?" "I need to meet with you today. It's about Susan and Sandra's spa weekend. There's something you need to know." Long silence. "What kind of something?" "The kind that's better discussed in person. Can you meet me at Desert Grounds Coffee on Camelback at 2 p.m.? "George, you're scaring me here." "I'm sorry, Kevin, but you deserve to know the truth." Desert Grounds was perfect. Public enough to prevent any violence, private enough for difficult conversations. I got there early, picked a corner table where I could see everything, and waited. My phone had enough evidence to destroy 3 marriages. That felt like a big responsibility. Kevin walked in right at 2 p.m., looking around until he spotted me. He looked older than his 61 years, with the rough hands and direct stare of a man who'd built things his whole life. He sat down across from me like he was approaching something dangerous. "All right, talk." I slid my tablet across the table, video ready to play. "This is from their spa weekend last Saturday. Susan is in several of these." He watched for maybe 30 seconds before his face went completely gray. Jesus Christ. "There's more," I said quietly. 20 minutes later, Kevin Torres was a different man. The devoted husband had been replaced by something harder, more angry. He looked at the evidence like someone calculating how much weight a building could take before it collapsed. "How long have you known?" "Since last night. I'm calling Danny next." "Good." Kevin stood up, putting the screenshots I'd printed in his pocket. "Susan's picking up groceries at 5. I'll be waiting." "Kevin." "No." His voice sounded final. 22 years, 2 kids, and she's all over some trainer while her sister films it. Sunday's barbecue at your in-laws is going to be very interesting. Danny needed a different approach. I met him at Starbucks near his office building. A neat guy in his late 50s who looked like he solved problems with spreadsheets. His reaction was quieter, but just as devastating. "I knew something was wrong," Danny said, looking through evidence on my phone. "Barbara's been different since the weekend. Secretive, happy in a way that didn't include me." He looked up. "What's your plan for Sunday?" "Sandra's parents' house during the monthly family barbecue. All 3 women, their parents, maximum witnesses." "You want to do this together?" Danny asked. "They did it together. Seems only fair." By 6 p.m., I had 2 allies and a coordinated plan. 3 tablets, 3 sets of evidence, 3 marriages about to explode simultaneously. We synchronized our watches like we were planning a military operation because that's exactly what this had become. Strategic warfare against people who had declared war on us first. My phone buzzed with a text from Sandra. "Can't wait for family barbecue Sunday. Love spending time with everyone. Love you." Love. The word felt empty now. She'd said it while being intimate with another man 6 days ago, and she'd say it again on Sunday while lying to my face in front of her parents. But Sunday wasn't about family bonding anymore. Sunday was about justice. The weekend felt like the longest of my life. I had to act normal around Sandra while knowing exactly what she'd done. She was so happy and relaxed, talking about how refreshed she felt, how connected she felt to her sisters. Every word was like a knife twist. Saturday night, she wanted to be intimate. I made excuses about being tired from work stress. The thought of touching her after seeing those videos made me physically sick. She seemed disappointed but didn't push it. "You've been distant lately," Sandra said, curling up next to me in bed. "Everything okay?" "Just work stuff," I replied. "Big project coming up." She bought it completely. That's what 20 years of marriage gets you. Complete trust that your husband isn't the type to lie. The irony wasn't lost on me. Sunday morning, I double-checked all my equipment. 3 tablets loaded with evidence, backup files on my phone, printed screenshots in case technology failed. I'd learned long ago in IT that you always have backups for critical operations. Sandra was practically glowing as she got ready for the barbecue. She'd bought a new sundress, spent extra time on her hair and makeup. She looked beautiful and happy and completely unaware that her world was about to end. "Ready to go see the family?" she asked, grabbing her purse. "More than ready," I replied. The Patterson family home buzzed with pre-barbecue energy when I arrived Sunday afternoon. Sandra's father, Roy, was checking the grill temperature while her mother, Carol, arranged side dishes on the patio table. The 3 sisters gathered around the kitchen island, wine glasses in hand, laughing over shared secrets with the easy comfort of conspirators. "There's our favorite son-in-law," Susan called out, her voice too bright and cheerful. She looked exactly like someone who'd spent the week worrying about her husband finding certain videos. Dark circles under carefully applied makeup, wine at 2 p.m., that desperate brightness of someone trying too hard to act normal. Barbara raised her glass. "To George! Thanks for always being the steady one in this crazy family." Sandra glowed beside them, beautiful in a sundress that made her look like the perfect wife. She kissed me when I approached, tasting like Chardonnay and lies. "How are you feeling? Relaxed from your weekend?" "Completely refreshed," she said. "Best spa treatment of my life." The doorbell rang at 2:17 p.m. Kevin's arrival started unraveling their carefully constructed web of lies. He looked like a man who'd slept maybe 3 hours in the past week. "Kevin," Carol called from the kitchen. "Perfect timing. Roy needs help with the grill." "Actually," Kevin replied, positioning himself near the living room entrance. "I think I'll wait for Danny." Susan's smile wavered. "Danny? Why is Danny coming?" Before Kevin could answer, the doorbell rang again. Danny walked in with the careful precision of someone who'd spent the morning reviewing legal documents. He nodded to me, took his position near the back door, and checked his watch. The temperature in the room dropped noticeably. "Boys, what's this about?" Roy asked, setting down his spatula. I moved to the center of the room, making sure everyone could see clearly. 3 women, 2 elderly parents, 2 brothers-in-law, all witnesses to what came next. My hands were steady as I pulled out my tablet. "Before we eat, there's something everyone needs to see from the girls' spa weekend." "George," Sandra said, her voice carrying a warning, "what are you doing?" "I'm showing everyone what really happened during your weekend in Sedona." The silence that followed was complete. Susan went white. Barbara started shaking her head before I'd even started playing anything. Sandra's face went through confusion, realization, and panic in about 3 seconds. "It was just harmless fun," Susan said quickly. "Relaxation therapy, nothing serious." "Was this harmless?" I turned the tablet toward the room and hit play. The video played on the large screen TV. Sandra all over the personal trainer with obvious enthusiasm. Susan, married mother of 2, with her hands down another trainer's shorts. Barbara, topless and straddling a 3rd man while the group cheered. Carol Patterson dropped her wine glass. The sound of breaking crystal marked the destruction of 3 marriages. "Oh my God," Roy whispered. "It's not what it looks like," Sandra said, but her voice had no conviction left. Kevin stepped forward, his own tablet ready. "Here's what it looked like from another angle. More footage, different perspectives, same betrayals." Danny's voice cut through the chaos with accounting precision. "Barbara, this is you saying, and I quote, Danny would literally file for divorce. Worth every minute, though." He read from his phone, Barbara's own words sealing her fate. The sisters' unity collapsed like a house of cards. Susan turned on Sandra first. "This was your idea. You researched the resort. You said it would be liberating." "I didn't force you to participate," Sandra protested. "You were the one all over Miguel first." Barbara joined the blame game. Sandra brought Angela to film everything. She planned the whole documentation. Stop! My voice cut through their finger pointing with sharp precision. All three of you participated. All three of you lied. All three of you betrayed your families. Carol was crying now, her perfect family barbecue forgotten. Roy stood frozen, watching his daughters tear themselves apart with their own words. George, please, Sandra stepped toward me, tears streaming. It was a mistake. I love you. We can work through this. No, I said quietly. We can't. I reached into my jacket and pulled out my wedding ring, the gold band I'd worn for 20 years, the symbol of promises that apparently meant nothing. I placed it on the coffee table between us. I've filed for divorce. The papers are being served tomorrow. You'll receive a detailed accounting of how your weekend of sexual liberation is going to cost you financially. The financial reality was brutal. Our house was worth about $485,000 with a remaining mortgage of $180,000. My 401k had $340,000, plus another $95,000 in savings accounts. Arizona is a community property state, which meant Sandra would get half of everything acquired during the marriage, but her documented infidelity would help me keep more of my retirement accounts and possibly avoid paying alimony. George, Sandra began, I'm done. I looked around the room one last time, memorizing the faces of people who'd welcomed me as family while hiding their daughters' betrayals. You all knew something was different about her lately. Parents always know. Carol's crying confirmed my suspicion. I walked toward the door, Kevin and Danny beside me like an honor guard. At the doorway, I turned back to address the wreckage. Sandra, you said you finally felt alive again. Congratulations. You're about to feel very much alive as a single woman paying half the legal fees. The door closed behind us on the sound of Carol Patterson's heartbroken sobs and the raised voices of three women who'd destroyed everything good in their lives for a weekend of sexual satisfaction with strangers. Outside, the Arizona sunshine felt like freedom. Danny lit a cigarette with shaking hands. Kevin stared at the house like he was calculating its demolition. That went better than expected, I said. Better? Danny laughed, a sound like breaking glass. We just destroyed 3 marriages in front of their parents. They destroyed the marriages, I corrected. We just provided the evidence. We stood there for a moment, 3 men who'd walked into that house as husbands and walked out as something else entirely. The future stretched ahead of us, uncertain but honest. No more lies, no more betrayals, no more pretending that love meant accepting disrespect. The week following Sunday's confrontation unfolded like a carefully managed IT project. I approached ending my marriage with Sandra the same way I'd debug a complex system. Identify the problem, isolate the affected components, remove the corrupted code, and rebuild from a stable foundation. Monday morning, while Sandra was probably dealing with the fallout at her parents' house, I sat in my home office, systematically canceling joint accounts and credit cards. I'd moved fast over the weekend, transferring my direct deposit to a new individual account and securing copies of all financial records. 25 years in IT had taught me the value of data backup and security protocols. My phone had been ringing constantly since Sunday evening. Sandra, her parents, concerned relatives who'd heard different versions of why the marriage was ending. I let them all go to voicemail, creating a digital record of desperation that would be useful if Sandra tried to claim I'd been abusive or manipulative. The messages escalated from tearful apologies to angry accusations to desperate bargaining. By Wednesday, she was promising therapy, complete transparency, whatever it took to fix this. But some systems are too corrupted to repair. Sometimes you have to wipe everything and start over. Sandra's attempts at reconciliation became increasingly frantic as the week progressed. She showed up at my office Wednesday afternoon, standing in the parking lot in wrinkled clothes, crying about how sorry she was, how it had meant nothing, how she'd do anything to save our marriage. It's not salvageable, I told her through my car window. Some things can't be undone. But I love you, Sandra protested. You love the life we built together. You loved the security, the future we planned, the version of yourself that got to be the good wife while secretly being someone else. I looked at her face, really studied it. What you don't love is me. If you loved me, you wouldn't have been able to do what you did. Thursday brought news that Barbara had already moved out of Danny's house and was staying with a coworker from her accounting firm. Turns out she'd been getting emotionally involved with this guy for months before the spa weekend. Her marriage hadn't been killed by one weekend of cheating. It had been dying slowly while she planned her exit strategy. The weekend had just been her way of having her cake and eating it too. Susan's story was different but equally devastating. Kevin's lawyer had discovered she'd been carrying on an emotional affair with her personal trainer for 6 months. The spa weekend had been her chance to escalate from emotional cheating to physical betrayal, using her sister's bad decisions as cover for her own. Friday evening, I sat in my living room looking at the wall where our wedding photos used to hang. I'd already started looking for a new place, somewhere clean and modern with no memories of the life I'd planned with Sandra. The house we'd shared felt contaminated now, every corner holding reminders of promises that had been lies. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. One of Sandra's friends, probably trying to mediate on her behalf. The message was longer than expected. Angela wrote, "George, this is Angela, Sandra's cousin. I was at the spa weekend. I want you to know that I tried to talk them out of it, but they said it was just harmless fun. I'm sorry I didn't speak up sooner. What they did wasn't right. You deserve better." Attached was a photo I hadn't seen before. The 3 women the morning after their betrayals, laughing over breakfast while reviewing photos from the night before. Not an ounce of regret or guilt among them. Just 3 married women celebrating their successful deception of the men who loved them. I forwarded the photo to Kevin and Danny, then deleted the conversation. Some evidence was worth preserving. Some was just salt in wounds that were finally starting to heal. The week ended with me deleting Sandra's contact information from my phone, blocking her on all social media platforms, and signing a lease on a new condo in Scottsdale. The systematic dissolution was complete. Every connection severed, every shared asset divided, every promise voided. I'd entered the week as a betrayed husband consumed with justified anger. I was ending it as something else entirely. A man who'd learned that sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction, but reconstruction. Building something better from what's left after the fire. The divorce proceedings moved faster than expected. Sandra's documented infidelity made the financial division straightforward. Arizona's community property laws meant she got half the house equity, about $152,500, but her adultery helped me keep most of my retirement accounts intact. The final settlement cost her about $85,000 in legal fees and lost alimony potential. My lawyer estimated the total financial impact of her spa weekend at roughly $240,000 when you factored in the lost house appreciation, legal costs, and asset division. That worked out to about $40,000 per hour of sexual entertainment with strangers. My new condo in Scottsdale became a refuge of controlled minimalism. Clean lines, modern furniture, no photographs of the past. The morning sun streamed through floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating a space that belonged entirely to me. No compromises, no shared decisions, no accommodating someone else's taste in decorative pillows. The laptop where I first discovered Sandra's betrayal now served exclusively for productive purposes. I'd been promoted to senior IT director at my firm and was 4 months into a startup project with a former colleague. The app we were building, a platform for verified testimonials and reputation management, felt appropriately ironic. We were creating systems to help people identify trustworthy individuals and businesses. Professional skepticism turned profitable. The monthly dinner with Kevin and Danny had become a cornerstone of accountability and genuine friendship. We met at different restaurants, comparing notes on our rebuilt lives like generals reviewing successful campaigns. Kevin had won primary custody of his children after Susan's emotional affair became public record. His construction business was thriving. Apparently, going through a divorce had made him more focused and driven than ever. "Kids are adjusting better than expected," Kevin had reported last week. Turns out they were picking up on the tension long before I confronted Susan. Now that everything's out in the open, they seem relieved. Danny had surprised us all by documenting his post-divorce journey on social media. His Instagram feed showed him hiking through European cities, learning photography, trying foods he'd never experienced during his marriage. The captions were thoughtful, sometimes philosophical. He'd gained thousands of followers who found inspiration in his story of reinvention. Barbara reached out last month, Jason had told us. Wanted to clear the air and find closure. I told her I'd already found both those things and they didn't require her participation. Through social media glimpses and inevitable small-town gossip, I'd learned the fates of the three women who'd shattered their own lives for a weekend of sexual gratification. Sandra had moved back in with her parents, struggling with depression and the social fallout. The canceled family barbecues had become neighborhood legend, with details growing more dramatic in each retelling. Susan had lost not just her marriage but her relationship with her children, who'd chosen to live with their father full-time rather than deal with the custody battle. Her attempts to paint Kevin as controlling had backfired when her own betrayals became public. The woman who'd prided herself on being the perfect mother had become a cautionary tale about choices and consequences. Barbara had relocated to Tucson with her coworker-turned-boyfriend, but their relationship had already imploded according to mutual friends. Apparently, men who were willing to sleep with married women weren't always the most trustworthy partners themselves. She'd posted a few vague messages about learning from mistakes and growing as a person, but they felt more like performance than genuine reflection. The evening routine had become sacred to me. I'd pour a glass of wine, sit in my reading chair, and review the day's accomplishments. The startup was gaining traction. My relationship with my own family had strengthened after they'd witnessed my handling of the crisis. I'd started therapy, not because I was broken, but because I wanted to understand how I'd missed so many warning signs. "You trusted someone who was untrustworthy," my therapist had explained. "That says something about your character, not theirs. The goal isn't to become suspicious of everyone, but to become better at recognizing authenticity." My phone buzzed with a notification, a text from a number I didn't recognize. For a moment, old reflexes tensed, preparing for another attempt at contact from my past. But this was different. Jennifer wrote, "Hi George, this is Jennifer from the coffee shop on Scottsdale Road. You probably don't remember me, but you helped me with my laptop a few weeks ago when it crashed. I was wondering if you'd like to grab dinner sometime. No pressure, just thought I'd ask." I remembered her. Dark hair, genuine smile, the kind of person who said please and thank you to service workers. She'd been frantic about losing work files when her computer froze, and I'd spent 20 minutes helping her recover everything. No hidden agenda, no manipulation, just one human being helping another. I looked at the message for a long moment, then typed back, "I'd like that. When works for you?" 7 months after my world had collapsed, I was finally ready to consider building something new. Not because I'd forgotten the past or forgiven the betrayals, but because I'd processed them completely. I'd learned that some people were worthy of trust and others weren't. The challenge was becoming skilled enough to tell the difference. I walked to my laptop and deleted the final folder of evidence from Sandra's betrayal. Not out of forgiveness. Forgiveness was irrelevant to someone who'd never genuinely asked for it, but because I no longer needed it. The past had been processed, consequences had been distributed, and justice had been served through the simple act of refusing to pretend betrayal didn't matter. The man who wore that wedding ring for 20 years was gone. But the man who emerged from those ashes was stronger, wiser, and finally ready to trust again. Carefully, selectively, but authentically. The future stretched ahead, uncertain but honest. And for the first time in months, that felt like more than enough. Sometimes the most powerful revenge isn't destroying your enemy. It's rebuilding yourself so completely that their betrayal becomes nothing more than the catalyst for your better life. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time, then use that knowledge to build something worthy of who you really are.